Hello, my beautiful people, and hello, my perfume lovers. Welcome to my channel. As always, I'm super glad and super happy to have you here. If you're new here, my name is Martin, and I do perfume reviews, and I talk about perfumes, fragrances, all types of fragrances actually, Middle Eastern, niche fragrances, designer fragrances, you name it. And I'm super happy to be here with another review, and I'm going to talk about another LATTAFA fragrance actually. Again, I mean, there's so many fragrances, like this house has like hundreds, I think, fragrances, and I'm planning to try not all of them, but most of them. And today I'm going to talk about AJWAD, and I don't have a bottle here, I actually have a tester. And this scent is actually quite popular. I've seen a lot of reviews, and I actually got this tester by another YouTuber. Her name is Fragrant Glance. Actually, she's called Loredana, but her channel is Fragrant Glance. I'm going to link her down below. As I did in the previous video, check her out. She's amazing, really just chef's kiss. If there's one YouTuber I'm going to recommend to you, it's her. And yes, to the fragrance, as I said, I don't have to bottle because usually I also talk about the presentation and the bottle itself, but I have a little tester here, which is quite enough to have because I just wanted to test it before I actually get it. And this is the next thing I'm going to talk about. Is it really worth it? So yes, let me get started. I have it actually on my hand, but I will put another sprayer. And yes, this scent, very oriental, sweet. You get a blast of rose. And according to Fragrantica, there are fruity accords in the opening. And then you also have rose and jasmine. You have musk and vanilla and cedarwood. So it's not like the most complex fragrance, but it does smell a lot actually to another fragrance. It reminds me a lot of another fragrance which I have in my collection, and it's Intense Cafe by Montal. So if you know this fragrance and you probably have this fragrance, then you know that they're very similar. I don't know if it's actually supposed to be dupe, but instantly I smell Intense Cafe or like Roses Vanille by Montserrat. I think they're more or less the same fragrance, very similar. And Montserrat and Montal, they're actually, I don't want to say like under one company, but Montserrat is the sub brand of Montal as far as I know. And yeah, this scent, very sweet, very synthetic as well. In my opinion, I don't get any fruits, no fruity accords. Maybe there could be some, I don't know, trying to think of any fruit right now, but I don't really get fruits. I get rose. This is what I get most of the time, a very syrupy, sweet rose, very beautiful scent, very sensual as well. And you definitely get the jasmine, but it's more in the background. I mean, I've tried the fragrance, I give it a whole wear test. Most of the time, I was actually smelling rose, sweet rose. I was getting Intense Cafe, but not exactly Intense Cafe. It's more like the DNA of Montal I'm getting. And it slightly reminds me of Arabian Tonka, which I also have in my collection, but it doesn't like go that much into that direction. If I would have to compare it to another fragrance, it's definitely Intense Cafe or Roses Vanille, but it's more like the DNA. You don't have that 100% duping quality, but I do think that if you like Intense Cafe, then you're going to enjoy this one a lot. And it's less sweet. This is the next thing, which I really like actually, because Intense Cafe, as much as I love the scent, I think it's a little bit too sweet for my taste. I mean, I still love the fragrance. It's really, there's a reason why it's one of the most popular fragrances, and it is a masterpiece on its own. However, this fragrance I slightly prefer right now because it's not as sweet. It definitely has a synthetic touch. So you do have to like synthetic fragrances and rose fragrances. And it is a little bit more powdery in my opinion, especially in the dry down. But the really fascinating thing about this fragrance actually is that in the opening it's slightly metallic and kind of cool and fresh. Like there's something very airy about that. And how can I describe it better? It's like you spray Intense Cafe on your neck or wherever, and then you let it dry down. And for example, if you smell it in the air, this is how it exactly also smells on the hand, because if I spray Intense Cafe on my hand, it's super sweet, and then in the air it gets a little bit more lighter, and I think this is softer and lighter overall, and I really like that actually. And to be honest, I think this is a great unisex fragrance, but you do have to keep in mind you have to like sweet fragrances, and you have to like rose fragrances, you have to like oriental fragrances as well. However, as I said, if you're into intense cafe, then you're going to love this fragrance a lot, I feel like. The next thing is the, of course, projection, the lasting power, the sillage. I think this, like most of the LATTAFA fragrances, they're very strong fragrances. This is not a beast note fragrance. However, I do think that this is long lasting. It projects enough. Like when I was wearing this, I was getting compliments. People asked me what I'm wearing. Actually, a friend of mine, she was like, "What are you wearing?" And she was like, it's kind of similar or familiar to another fragrance you are actually wearing. I know that fragrance." And then I showed her that, and she was like, "Yeah, you're right. Like it smells a lot like Intense Cafe, but it is a little bit more different." And as I said, it's lighter, it's softer. I think just not as dense and like too intense. However, yes, a beautiful, beautiful scent, very inexpensive as well. I think you can get this fragrance for around 25, 30 euro, like under 50 euros. To me, this is inexpensive. I think, as far as I know, the bottle comes in 60 milliliters, so you're not going to get 100 milliliter if you're planning to get this scent. What else can I tell you? I think that, as I said, it's a unisex scent, slightly feminine leaning, which I personally don't mind. As I said, if you like Intense Cafe or Roses Gourmand by Zara, or if you like Roses Vanille, then you're going to like this one as well. I think that this is also perfect for layering, which is the next point. If you know me, you know I'm a big fan of layering fragrances. For example, I actually tried only one layering combo, but I think if I take Intense Cafe, like Intense Cafe's DNA or layering combos, I layer the scent with, and I can also take this one instead. So that will be, for example, Arabian's Tonka or Baccarat Rouge 540 is an amazing fragrance to use to layer with this one or with Intense Cafe as well. But yeah, I'm talking actually about AJWAD. It's perfect to layer with, as I said, Baccarat Rouge 540. I think this also is perfectly layered with our Shagaf by Swiss Arabian. I'm like just more or less making it up, but I actually layered Intense Cafe with Shagaf, so I'm pretty sure it's going to work with this one perfectly as well. Lost Cherry would be another fragrance I would layer this one with. So actually the list goes on because it is a rose vanilla kind of scent, sweet. It's going to add a lot of sweetness to other fragrances, and I think this is perfect. Do I really need it? I personally don't think I'm going to order it for now because I do have Intense Cafe and and I also have two other dupes. I have Arabian's Tonka, but in general, if you like the DNA of Montal, and if you're looking for something that's more inexpensive, because Montal fragrances are definitely on the more pricier side, then this would be actually a perfect option to get. Don't hesitate. Don't think about like, just don't hesitate. I think for that price, you get an amazing scent, very well blended, great quality, with a long lasting power, which is very important to me. I know that there are people that don't mind, they don't like too heavy and too strong fragrances. I think that this is perfectly in the middle. It can be a little bit overwhelming if you overspray, like I'm an oversprayer, but other than that, 3 to 4 sprayers should be enough. You're going to get around, let's say, 5 to 6 hours, and then it's going to dry down to a skin scent. If you overspray, it's probably going to give you a beast mode performance, which is nice. And this is actually it so far. And thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning in as always. I would really appreciate if you comment down below. If you have this fragrance, tell me your thoughts. And in general, feedback is always welcome. And I hope to see you guys very soon for another review. Thank you.